Hi, so one of the questions I get asked a lot from people who've never used virtual assistants before is, can I trust my virtual assistant? Can I trust my VA? Well, yes and no, and I'll explain why, just coming up. So the question this week is, how much can I trust my VA? Now, if you're wondering where we are north of Sydney, up on the Hawkesbury River. We're actually at Wiseman's Ferry, so there's a ferry coming in behind me. Hopefully it won't be too noisy. But the topic this week is, can I trust my VA? And I think people who are new to using virtual assistants sometimes worry about this. They're dealing with someone who's a foreigner, if you like, in a foreign country. Maybe they've never actually met them face to face, and they worry about how much they can share of their business and so on. So let me explain how I've gone about it, and maybe it'll give you a few tips. So first of all, I think there's probably a little bit of a difference between home-based virtual assistants and office-based. I tend to feel a little bit more comfortable in the early stages with an office-based VA because they're working in a structured environment, they're being supervised and so on. And I don't know, it just gives me that extra feeling of sort of safety and confidentiality. But I have friends who have home-based VAs who've worked with them for years and not had a drama. So let's talk about then building trust and how much you can actually give your VA access to. So I should say, I have a team of 5 virtual assistants directly looking after me, and I trust them implicitly. So how have I reached that point? Well, first of all, it comes down to the recruitment. Just like you'd be recruiting someone in your home country, face to face, you want to really feel comfortable with them. And when I'm interviewing new VAs, I'm really looking for attitude and fit within our team. It's not so much skills, and I've talked about this before, skills can be learned, but I want someone who's going to really fit in, because a team at work is very much like a family, and you want people who are going to fit into that family well, that the rest of the family are going to trust, and they're going to develop with the team. So that's really important. You kind of get a gut feel when you're hiring people whether they're going to fit in or not. So then how do you develop trust? The first thing I would say is, of course, trust is a two-way thing. Now, recently I published something on the YouTube channel, I think on LinkedIn, and someone remarked, oh, you should always, give trust, and then, if you find you can't trust people, then take it back. I think that's a little bit naive. I think you have to start off slowly and build trust between you. And then as the relationship becomes a lot more trustworthy, then you can start to share more. I think it's a little bit foolish not to be honest. So the way that I do that is that I'll start off the relationship with some tasks that are not overly confidential, which are really taking a load off my time, and then gradually I will add tasks that perhaps require a little bit more discretion and confidentiality, and we'll see how we go. And I mentioned, of course, that trust is a two-way thing. So you've really got it, particularly I think with a virtual assistant, it's a little bit harder than having someone in the office. You've got to develop that bond and that trust between you. So they've got to trust you as well. So it's very much how that relationship's developed from both parties. And what I tend to do in the early days is I'll start slowly. I'll let the new VA become competent at various tasks before I start adding more. And it's really important as well that you don't, in the early stages, put too much pressure on them. So I can remember 6 or 7 years ago when I had my first VA, we had this little mantra that I would give her extra tasks each day, and we'd always end our discussion. We'd talk 2 or 3 times a day on Skype video, and I'd say, any questions, just ask. And my PA at the time would say, yeah, I know, just ask. But you kind of have to let people make mistakes and not be too harsh, and also give them the freedom to ask lots of questions, because in a VA relationship sometimes, particularly in the early days, they're a little bit concerned about maybe looking foolish or not looking skilled enough, and they don't want to ask questions. So really encourage people to ask questions. That'll get them trusting you, and then that relationship's going to build up over time. So for me, My VAs have access to everything, basically. My PA particularly has access to all of my emails, my credit cards, because she pays a lot of bills, all that kind of stuff. But obviously, you know, I'm not saying do that from day one. You have to build that trusting relationship. And to be honest, my VA team, they're just like family. You know, they're probably watching this. So, hey guys, don't take advantage of me. But really, they're just like, you know, I've got another 5 or 6 kids in the family. And, you know, think of it in that way as you're building trust with your team. They're like family members, you know. Show an interest, be supportive, and you'll have a really trustworthy, long-lasting relationship. And it's going to help you enormously, you know, personally and with your business. So, back to that question, can you trust your VA? Yeah, you can, but don't be silly from day one. You know, let that trust build. So you know how this channel works. If you found that useful, do comment below if you've got any questions. Do subscribe, because we have new videos coming out every week, generally on a Wednesday. Do share it, and if you have other topics that you'd love to hear about, just comment below and I'll see if we can cover them. Thanks for watching.